This is the solar system that I bought. I'm hoping to fit myself. I just went to a DIY shop. This is in Spain, and picked it up. And that's the price I paid. Probably horribly overpriced. I don't know, to be honest. A little look on eBay afterwards suggests it's expensive, but time is money right now, so I just wanted to rush out and grab one and be done with it. It's only 30 watts because this is only going to be a day van. It's not going to be for long holidays. Well, we don't think it is going to be for long holidays. We think it's going to be for overnight stays and just, you know, short trips. So and I wanted this to be for the lights. It is extendable, so I could connect more solar panels to it, or a bigger battery at a later date if need be. But probably this is going to do us, because we might only have the van for another 3 months anyway. Good Lord, there's a lot of traffic. So I'm going to take this apart. Lottie, will you hold the camera on the box while I undo it? Okay. So, let's see what we've got in here. I'm not going to be using the bulbs. So we've got our own LED lights. That's the controller, charge controller. So the solar panel wires going in, the battery, and that's for the output, the lights, the light cable. And this is the tiny little battery. And I'll have to hold the battery in place, and this is the cable. Now the only problem is this cable is probably not going to be long enough. Let's get it out, have a look. Let's see. Oh no, it's going to be long enough. So we're going to get that fitted today. I'm going to fit the solar panel now. I was told when I bought this to be very, very careful and read the instructions really thoroughly. But the instructions seem to be very basic. It seems to be very simple. I don't know what all the fuss is about, because all you seem to have to do is connect the battery to the charge controller first, and then connect the solar panel to the charge controller, and that's it. So it seems very simple. So let's go. We're putting the solar panel on the far side of the roof because I don't want to have to take the ceiling card down. I want the cable to come down around about there, and then it can go straight down the back of this wall, and then down there where the battery's going to go, the solar and the charge controller. Mark around where the solar panel goes, take the solar panel off, and then you know where to put the adhesive. Got the screw started, it's self-tapping screw, and once it started to go into the metal, then I took it out again and removed the bracket and put a little dab of silicone into the hole, and now I'm re-screwing the screw back in. I don't have a grommet, so I'm going to cut the top part of that off, and that should do it. Now, the hole that I cut wasn't big enough for the little grommet that I made, so I just cut a little section, and just cut a little bit and fit it in the part where the cable's most likely to be cut on the metal, so just here. and then I'm going to fill all of that with silicone and it will stay in place. I made the cable come out of the back right hand side of the last cupboard, so it's more out of the way. Now I'm going to thread it over to the other side, see how I can hide it. I've decided to that I want the charge controller to be screwed to wood and have extra space to the side just in case I expand the system, or have I don't know what the name of it is, a controller for the outputs if I have more outputs. So I'm going to have this bit of wood attached to the back of the bulkhead, so I'm going to take off the wooden card on that side and screw from that side into the wood. So this is my miniature battery, dinky little battery, and this is the cable that it came with, and it came with these connectors, this one, and they push on there. Oops, sorry, they push on there. And so we have to put separate the cable and put the black onto one and put that on there, and the red onto the other one. So we'll do that now. Those are now connected. You just bare a bit of the end of the cable, just cut a bit of the plastic off, pull it off, and then twist the cable and push into the connector, and then with some pliers, very strong pliers, just pinch that part of the crimp it, and then those will go onto the battery. But first of all I need to cut the cable down to the right length, and then, wait a minute, yeah, and then once I've cut the cable down to the right length, then I connect the cable to the battery, and then on the other end of the cable I connect to the charge controller. I've cut out the length of the cable that I need to connect the battery, which is down there, to the charge controller, and I've connected the little connectors that go onto the battery, and the other end of the cable, I've split the cable, cut off a little bit of plastic and twisted it at the ends. So this needs to be connected to the charge controller, so I'll do that now.
And the charge controller, sorry, the battery's there, you can see a picture of the battery. Negative is the back, so I'll do that first. Unscrew it first, I think.
That's the negative in, and I'll put the positive in, and then when I've done that I'll connect that end to the battery. I'm just making a very rudimentary housing for the battery. Just go like that, and then the battery's going to sit there, and then that can go over the top of the battery to protect the terminals, and it'll also stop the battery from moving about so much. Now all connected to the charge controller and to the battery. It can go like that. And now I need to connect the solar panel cable to the charge controller. This is a new charge controller that I ordered off eBay, because the other one was really bad. The casing would kind of lift away as you screwed the screws in, but this one's got, I shouldn't really put my finger there, this has got a plastic thing that lifts up, and then you can see the screws a lot more easily. You don't have to really bend down to see them, and it was so cheap. It was something like £6. So it makes me realise how I was overcharged with the solar panel kit. I think it's best to buy your solar panel separately, each item separately, and get the best parts that you can afford. Or, well, obviously this is not a really expensive part, but just be careful that you're not being ripped off like I was, obviously. So, and also the solar panel kit that I was given came with a really short piece of cable, thick cable. I didn't know what it was, so I didn't use it, and I assumed that the cable for the lighting was the cable that was needed to connect to the battery as well as the lighting. Now I've since found out that it's not, and the tiny, it was like, you know, 1 foot of cable that came with the kit was not enough to reach the battery. So, you know, they really gave me the bare minimum. So I went to an electrical shop, and got some proper cable, which they gave me free of charge. So I fitted that. The solar panel is working. The battery is fully charged. Now I'm going to fit the spotlights for the 3rd or 4th time, and hopefully they're going to work.